today's video, we're going to be working on our 2001 Cadillac DeVille. It's a base model. We have our new shocks here. They're from partsgeek.com. You want to make sure that you double check. You might have to physically check your Cadillacs, because what I hear is that not all Cadillacs are the same, even not all DeVilles are the same in terms of your shocks and your struts. Now, most people say, yeah, you got to take all this stuff out. Well, we're not going to do that today. I mean, we want to get this done rather quick. So if we reach in here, pull this back, we can go ahead and get in there and get to these bolts that sit on top of the wheel fender here. Okay, so we got our wheel off. We got it jacked up and on stands. Here's our shock that we're going to replace. These are air shocks. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to basically disable the air system. Okay, to access the inside, it's pretty simple. I just go ahead and pull this back, and as you can see, there's this boot here. So we lift off this boot, so we gotta loosen all three of those bolts, and then the whole assembly will come out. We will keep this piece right here when we install the new one, and we will keep this washer here. So this washer will be kept, and this metal bracket will be kept. So our bottom nuts here are 10 millimeters. We are going to go ahead and spray some penetrating oil on those, let those sit while we loosen the top ones. Okay, so we got our bottom piece out. Now we will go ahead and get the top piece out. So the middle one is a 15 millimeter and the two outer ones are 13 millimeter. So go ahead and get those out. Okay, so we got our bolts out. One thing I want to recommend is that do not loosen the bottom ones until you loosen this middle one, because in my situation what was happening is I loosened those bottom ones first, and then I went to go loosen this, and all I was doing was spinning the shock. So I had to kind of put the bolts back in order for me to not let the shock spin around. So now we got all the bolts out. We'll go ahead and pull out our old shock. Okay, so we got our old shock out. As you can see, this is pretty bad. I can basically move that with my hand. I was able to move that with my hand up and down. So we got our new shock in. Tighten down our bolts. We'll go ahead and put our boot on. This boot goes a certain way. As you can see, it has an out. It goes like that. So I'll go ahead and stuff our carpet back in here. So we got our bolts tightened down here. 18 foot-pounds and everything. We zip tied our line up for our compressor, since we're not using air compressed shocks anymore. I'm also going to show you how to disengage the air system. We're going to remove the relay from inside the car, so we'll go and do that next. So we'll go ahead and put this wheel on. We'll get our other shock replaced, and we'll see you inside the car. Okay, so as you can see, we are sitting a lot higher than we used to. We're going to go ahead and torque down our lug nuts on this side, and then we'll go ahead and work on this side. This side is sitting higher now, even without this one being replaced yet. But we're going to go ahead and get this one replaced next. We're going to torque down our passenger side over here, and it's sitting pretty good. A little high, but we'll see how it rides. Okay, so we have our driver's side off now. Take a look at these brakes. Yeah, we're getting down to metal on these too. So we will look at getting these pads, possibly the rotors too, replaced in a future video. Okay, let's go ahead and get our shock off. So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to get some penetrating spray first. And we're going to put the penetrating spray on these bolts here. let that work for a while we go ahead and remove the inner one. So as I mentioned before, we can take off this boot, and we have 15 and 13s. So 15 millimeter up here and 13. So we're going to take this off first, since this is a little, it'll spin if we take off the outside first. We got our bolts loose. See, like this one, the clip broke. The other side, I broke the bolt. So you want to make sure you got some bolts. I went to the auto parts store. They don't have the actual parts, but was able to get some nuts and bolts in. That's what I used on this side to tighten the one that I broke. And now on that side, since the clip broke, I won't be able to reuse it. I will use a nut and bolt. So we'll go ahead and disconnect our air line up here. Okay, so we got our air line disconnected. We'll zippy tie that out the way once we get our new shock in, and then we'll go ahead and get the relay pulled out for the air system. Okay, so we got our new rear shocks in. It is sitting a lot higher than what it was. And it is not bouncing. So that's a good thing. So we're gonna go ahead and clean up. We are gonna remove the relay. I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and disconnect our battery and take out that relay. The battery for this Cadillac is located under the back seat. So we're gonna go ahead and pry the seat up, lift it out the way. Okay, so we got our seat up, and here's our battery. We're gonna go ahead and disconnect the negative cable. I'm thinking that's a 8 millimeter. Okay, so on the DeVille base model, the fuse relay for the air pump is located in the engine compartment. Okay, so this cover just pulls off, and now you have access to that. So I took out my 50 amp fuse for the air pump. We're gonna just slit that right there. There's nothing in there. Go ahead, click this back on. Put our cover back on. Okay, now we'll go ahead and get our battery cable back on. Tighten that down. And then go ahead and give your tester. So we'll go ahead, take this for a ride, see how it feels. I can already tell it feels a lot better in the back. Okay, so normally we have a lot of bounce around here. This one is usually a big deal. Not even a movement. Nice and tight. Rides very good. So now once we get our other items fixed up here, this thing will really ride like a Cadillac. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment any further videos you'd like to see. Much appreciated. Till next time, Fix It with Jeff.